Hi golfers, Nick here from Nick Taylor Golf. It's Wednesday, so welcome to another episode of Golf Talk. This week on Golf Talk, we're going to discuss what is the most important fundamental of playing good golf. Is the grip the most important fundamental? I don't think so. There's loads of golfers that have strong grips, there's loads of golfers that have weak grips, some golfers interlock and some overlap, so I don't think it's the grip. Is alignment the most important fundamental? You've got some guys aiming to the right, some aiming to the left, some aiming the club face to the right, some aiming the club face to the left. I don't think alignment is the most important fundamental. Is ball position the most important fundamental? I don't think so. Some golfers play the ball back in the stance, some play it forward, some change it depending on what shot they're hitting. So I don't think the ball position is the most important fundamental. How about stance? You've got some guys standing quite upright, some standing quite tilted over. I wouldn't say the stance or your posture is the most important fundamental. Okay, so we've talked about fundamental or the most important fundamental of golf. I've said it's not the grip, I said it's not the alignment, I said it's not the ball position, I said it's not the way you stand or your posture. So what is the most important fundamental of golf? What links all of the best players? If you watched all of the best players in the world on the golf range, what do they all do the same? Like I said, they don't do grip, alignment, stance, posture because they're all different. But what is the one thing that links them? And that's the thing we're going to discuss here. So I've got this ball, I've got a line set up as well with a stick here. Well, the best players will always make contact with the ground this side of the stick or the line. So always manage to hit the ball first and then the ground. The high handicappers will tend to hit the ground back here and may miss the ground and may hit a good one. But one thing for sure, they're not going to be consistent where they hit the ground, whereas the best players will always hit the ground in front of the golf ball. So that is the most important fundamental. Where does the club hit the ground? You never see a good player hit a fat shot or a thin shot. They may hit it right or left, but they always make good contact. So what factors control where the club hits the ground? One is where your weight is. So if I was to swing and move all of my weight over here, so my head and my hips have moved back, and I was to stay there, I could hit quite far back on this ground here, so a long way before this stick. If I was to swing and set all my weight this side on the left and stay there, or even move further forward that way, I could hit the furthest forward on the ground. It's not just the weight though that controls where the club hits the ground. I could swing all my weight on this side and still hit before the golf ball. So there's another factor, and that's where the handle position is. If I set up and keep my hands forward as I go through, I should hit the ground after the ball. If I was to come through and let the club go in front of my hands, I'm going to hit the ground before the ball. So where the weight is, where the handle location are the most important things to control when you're hitting this golf ball. And it's funny because a lot of golfers are taught when they first start to play, they're told they have to hold it in a certain way, they have to stand in a certain way, they have to align in a certain way. I'm not saying they're not important, but they vary from person to person. The most important thing is where the club hits the ground. So they've got all these things about how they have to hold it and how they have to stand, and then the beginning golfer is told to shift their weight to create power and then release the hands to square the club face. So the more I shift to the right and the more I release my hands, the further back I'm going to hit this club on the ground. So think about that. What is the most important fundamental of golf? I think it's where the club hits the ground. And I've told you the factors that control that. So guys, if you've got any questions on that, please post them in the box below. Or you can catch me on other social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Okay, so there you go. Every shot may not have gone in exactly the right direction, but pretty close. I'll put this line all the way up You can see every shot I took the ball first, then the ground. The hands will start moving to the left, so don't swing up and down the target line, they swing around their body in an arc or a circle.